You are being robbed, not by a pickpocket, not by a scam email, not even by inflation, though that's doing its part too. You're being robbed by something you agreed to, something you clicked yes on, something that sends you a little email every month that you've trained your brain to completely ignore. $30 here, $15 there, $9.99, $12.99. It sounds like nothing. It feels like nothing. That's exactly the point. Here's what most people think when they hear subscription services are expensive. They think, yeah, I probably have too many. I should cancel Netflix. That's it. That's where the thinking stops. They trim one or two, feel responsible, move on. But that's not actually what's happening here. That's not the real story, because this isn't about Netflix. It isn't even really about money, at least not in the obvious way. This is about a system that was engineered to make you financially numb, and it's working so well that the average American household is now spending $133 per month on subscription services. And when surveyed, they guessed they were spending around $86, a nearly $50 gap between reality and perception every single month. Let's go back to 2010 for a second. Netflix had about 20 million subscribers. It charged $8 a month. DVDs still came in little red envelopes. The subscription economy, as we now know it, basically didn't exist. Fast forward to today. The global subscription economy is worth over $650 billion. 45 million Americans have at least 4 active subscriptions. 12% have more than 10. Dog food, meditation apps, cloud storage, fitness, parking. The parking app has a subscription now. But here's where it gets interesting. Like, this didn't happen by accident. Here's the question that nobody's really asking. Why did every single industry on earth decide to switch to subscriptions at roughly the same time? Think about it. Adobe used to sell Photoshop for a one-time fee of around $700. Then in 2013, they switched to a subscription model. Then every software company, then media. Was this a coincidence, or was something else going on? Because the timing is strange, the coordination is strange. And the person who answered that question, not intentionally, but accidentally, was a Wall Street analyst writing a boring report in 2015 that almost nobody read. The surface level answer is simple. Subscriptions are more convenient. You don't have to remember to buy shampoo. Your software stays updated. You get new content every month. It feels like a good deal. And honestly, sometimes it is somewhere between $15 and $23 a month for unlimited content. If you're watching it, great. A 2022 study by Chase Bank found that 71% of consumers had forgotten about at least one active subscription they were still paying for. 71%. Think about the scale of that for a second. That's not people who signed up and decided it wasn't worth it. That's people who completely forgot the thing existed and still got charged every month. This is the part where your friendly Wall Street analyst enters the picture. In 2015, a Zora research report, Zora being a company that literally builds subscription billing software, identified something they called the Subscription Economy Index. The finding was straightforward. Subscription businesses grow 5 to 8 times faster than traditional businesses, not because people love them more, because of something called passive churn reduction. Here's what that means. When you sell someone a product once, they have to choose to buy it again. Every purchase is an active decision. And every time a human makes an active decision, there's a chance they'll say no. But with subscriptions, the default is yes. You have to actively decide to cancel. You have to find the settings page. You have to click cancel. Then confirm you want to cancel. Then answer why you're canceling. And then wait for the email confirmation. But here's where it gets weirder, because companies didn't just stumble onto this. They studied it, obsessively. There's a concept in behavioral economics called the pain of paying. It's the psychological discomfort people feel when they physically hand over money. Cash hurts the most. Card payments hurt a little less. And automatic recurring charges, almost zero pain. It's financial anesthesia. Amazon Prime understood this before almost anyone when they raised their price from $79 to $99 in 2014. a 25% price increase. Barely anyone noticed because the payment was already automatic. Then they raised it again to $119 in 2018, and again to $139 in 2022. This is when the smartest companies in the world started paying very close attention. It's not $9.99. It's what $9.99 becomes by over time. Jesse Livermore, the legendary trader who made and lost fortunes in the early 1900s, once said, "The game of speculation is the most uniformly fascinating game in the world, but it is not a game for the stupid, the mentally lazy, the person of inferior emotional balance, or the get-rich-quick adventurer." He was talking about markets, but he could have been talking about subscriptions, because what subscriptions exploit isn't stupidity. It's mental laziness. Here's what that looks like with real numbers. The average American has 12 paid subscriptions. The average monthly spend is $133. Now, that's $1,596 per year. Now, if instead of spending that $1,596 on subscriptions, you invested it annually at the S&P 500's historical average return of roughly 10.5% per year. Over 30 years, that's approximately $290,000, not from real estate, just from canceling subscriptions. But here's the part of this story that most finance channels don't tell you because it's uncomfortable. This isn't just a personal finance problem. It's a structural wealth problem. Think about it this way. A household earning $250,000 a year, spending $133 a month on subscriptions, is spending roughly 0.6% of their income. Annoying? Maybe. Life-changing? No. A household earning $45,000 a year, that same $133 represents nearly 3.5% of their income. Every month, automatically, silently, and it gets worse. Because many of these services use something called tiered pricing, where the cheaper plan contains just enough friction, ads, lower quality, limited access, to make you upgrade. It's designed to make the middle tier feel like the rational choice. Spotify's free tier gives you shuffle only with ads. The $10.99 tier, full control. The $16.99 family plan, even better. Sir John Templeton, who built one of the greatest investment fortunes of the 20th century, had a rule he called maximum pessimism investing. Buy when everyone else is panicking. But his real insight was quieter. If you want to have a better performance than the crowd, you must do things differently from the crowd. The crowd is subscribing to everything. So why did every industry on earth shift to subscriptions at the same time? Here's the answer that the 2015 analyst report was quietly pointing at, even if nobody wanted to say it out loud. Wall Street changed the way it valued companies. For most of the 20th century, companies were valued on earnings, actual profit right now. But sometime in the 2000s, especially post-2008, when interest rates collapsed to near zero, investors started chasing growth, specifically annual recurring revenue, or ARR. ARR is subscription revenue, predictable, repeating, immune to individual buying decisions. Not a company with $100 million in one-time sales and a company with $100 million in subscription revenue got very different valuations on Wall Street. The subscription company might trade at 10 times, 15 times, even 20 times revenue, while the product company traded at 2 times or 3 times. This created an enormous incentive, not just for tech companies, but for every industry to convert their revenue model into subscriptions. Here's where I won't do what most finance videos do. I won't tell you to cancel everything and live like a monk. Some subscriptions genuinely make sense. A tool that saves you 10 hours a month, worth it. A service that replaces something you'd spend more on otherwise. Do the math and keep it. And honestly, they've been right. The $650 billion subscription economy is proof of that. The question isn't whether this system is fair. It isn't. The question is whether you're going to be one of the people who actually counts. Here's what I'd suggest, not as advice, but as a thought experiment. Pull up your bank statement right now. Scroll back 3 months, add up every recurring charge. Then ask yourself, if someone knocked on your door and asked for that amount in cash every month forever, would you hand it over? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. The most expensive things in life aren't the big purchases. They're the small ones, and the ones that repeat so quietly that your brain stops registering them as decisions at all. $9.99 isn't a trap because it's expensive. $9.99 is a trap because it's cheap enough that you'll never quite get around to canceling it.